Oh, that's the wrong one. Ha! We're good. We're good. We're about it. You saw nothing. There's a big black flick of stuff in there. Alright. Hello. We're here. Already with the hydrate. I mean, yes, good call.
Water.
I did not refill my waters
Water.
before stream.
Water.
That might be a thing later. Sup, Samurai? How are you doing? Let's see. Where are we at? I worked on it a little bit between streams. Gotta keep my favorite streamer alive. Oh, I appreciate that. Favorite streamer. Feels like high praise. You know there are other people on this platform, right? Like there's at least one other person besides me. That's actually quite fair. I need the water. I really need the magnesium pills that are late. Ordered some magnesium nearly a week ago. Getting emails from Amazon. We're sorry, your order hasn't even shipped yet, even though it's supposed to be here the day before. Yeah, I watch 1 and 2, but I watch your streams more. Well, I thank you. I appreciate that greatly. Well, I hope you're having a good day, and I hope that you are going to enjoy this stream. So currently, I am working on the bronze ring, or brass ring, in the back of the shield that I believe is kind of part of the power system. So I like making them a few different, more not esoteric, but just yeah, I guess esoteric's not a bad word for it. Weirder metals you wouldn't normally use in such construction. Also, what do you think of the new music? Nothing else, it's a nice break from the other stuff. Definitely for me, because I definitely have not been listening to hours and hours of the same, like, 20-odd tracks for the last, like, I don't know, 3 months. You like it? Good. Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people that finds something they like, listens to it a bunch of times in a short period of time, and is dead to me for the next, like, 3 months. Now it's then to come back to it, and it's like in waves of musical interest, and sometimes I do that with entire genres. Like, I'll listen to nothing but, like, alt rock for, like, 2 months. And then I'll switch over to, like, house. Or stuff like this, like, cinematic symphony tracks. And then back again, and symphonic metal, and yada yada yada. Yada yada. So don't be surprised if that same thing happens with the music selection on the channel. Give it a couple months, we'll switch to something completely different if I can find it. If I can find it in a way that I can play, you know what I mean. Alright, so I have definitely hit a couple of these wires, although it's really hard to tell if it's in any major way. Nah, you really can't tell. Next, we non-oil the brass and the silver wires, I think. Or actually, maybe we should actually clean up around it, yeah. Because non-oil will add to, like, the shadow bit. We hung around it anyway. Yes. Pardon me. I am grabbing Armor Painter Matte Blade. It's our cleanup color. I may as well do all the white cleanup now, as it seems to be as decent a time as any to do that. I need to remember when I get around the edges of the surrounding trim indent here, not worry about the fine edges too much, as that will be getting painted over by the white highlight regardless. So it's all good. And yes, this is a very tricky step to make sure you guys can still see what I'm doing. But generally speaking, the thing I'm focusing on the most is not messing up the red. I don't care to have to do the red again. I also want to make sure these beads are definitely white. So it's going to be important later. So, Samurai, how goes things for you? Any plans for the weekend? It's Friday night. Hey guys, it's Friday night. We're almost done. Well, you might be done. I'm almost done. It's actually not entirely true. I actually have, like, most of the weekend filled up with work-esque plans. Might stream tomorrow? Nice. You know what you're gonna stream? Like, do you have ideas of what you're gonna stream exactly? It's gonna take a few layers to clean up. Oh, that's not the way I need. Be finishing the barrels. Barrels of what again? I apologize, I have forgotten. Illuminate me. Brain. Ah. There. Who knows? Depending on what's going on, I might pop into that stream. We'll see how it goes. I know tomorrow I'm actually fairly busy. The early day, I gotta see to a whole bunch of leaves, and at night, I'm going to my ex's moving away party. Because she's moving from New England to Florida. And yeah, it'll be nice to see her again. It's been a tick since we've hung out. And yeah. I also need to help her with a couple of things before she leaves. Tech support. Alright. I think that's the back cleaned up enough. Let's see. This right here. A bit much. It's over here. Trying to keep in mind that it doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be the things that won't be hit by other paints, or particularly things that will be hit by shaders. The shaders need to be over white where it needs to be white. Towards the end of the last stream, we started getting a bit busy. Wonder how rambunctious tonight will be. How much chaos can we attract here? That for some reason reminded me that gaming streams might be on the back burner for a couple weeks. I have some tech support work, or not tech support, but like web dev work that I need to take care of when I'm not otherwise busy. And yeah, I thought I'd be doing it this weekend, but then the party showed up and then I was asked about leaves and I have no idea. Hey, maybe if the leaves go quick and I don't have to also spend Sunday working on it, then I'll be good. And we can do a couple gaming streams, who knows. Or I can get ahead of the other work. This right here is the reason why the majority of the white is laid down using an airbrush and everything else is painted on top of it. Because actually applying white with a brush under any circumstances is a real freaking pain. If I could be as precise as I am with a brush with an airbrush, then man would I use it. But I simply could not actually airbrush at the finesse of a size 0 Sable. So, the size 0 Sable it is, then. I think that is the required white cleanup we need. And I think we are making quite good time on things, everything considered. Let's put some null oil on those, mechanical bits in the back. Nope. On something in my eye. Must remember, the beads must remain white. Your next step to work. Well, the next step for the beads anyway. So it'll be done last. Yeah, this music is definitely a step up from what we had before. I'm quite pleased. Alright. I cannot let that dry, and yes, there is a stained spot that I'll have to clean up soon enough. Do I begin putting the apothecary away in the front? I believe so. I believe I can begin doing that. As part of the white recipe, using apothecary white contrast as a broad recess shader. What I mean by that is we're applying it wherever there's recesses involving whites. We're going to purposefully drag it out just a little bit, just give it a little bit of space. So it's more like alongside recesses. This is why we had to clean up next to all the recesses. Because obviously you want something like this working as a shader. Need the color underneath to be the color you want, because it will still show through. If I were to put this on red, it'd look quite different than if I put it on white, because it's not actually opaque. It is somewhat translucent. Transparent, if you will. While the stuff next to the actual edges of the indents, the hard indents, those will be getting a different treatment entirely. So I'm not as worried about that. Alright, chat just refreshed, I guess. Okay. Very well then. And yes, I'm going to be putting some shade around the bolts, and the bolts have not all been cleaned up around them. I'm aware of this because the bolts are going to be hit with a few things. Anyway, thank you for the follow, Cinderblock Frog. Glad you have pulled up a chair to this basic table. Also, yes, I'm aware my sound alerts are very quiet right now, or at least they are for me. I've not yet figured out how to fix that. It's quite annoying. According to sound alerts, they're maxed out in volume. Oh. Yes, welcome to the channel. For a proper introduction, I am Table. I paint minis, casual and commission. This is actually a commission piece. I also do digital art and occasional gaming stream. We paint minis on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And we do digital art on Tuesdays and gaming whenever I feel like it. That's not, you know, one of the other segments. Also, thank you for being my 90th follower. We are 10 away from triple digits, people. So if you know any more weirdos, bring them in here. I am prepared. Also, yes, we're going to the back again where you can't see crap. I'm just going to turn on the music just a little bit. It's getting very loud in my ears, so I only imagine it was starting to get close to making it hard to hear me. Into painting, great watchman. Oh, thank you so much. Welcome to the chat. You'll find that I extremely encourage the chat. I love talking to people. As the timer there points out, join the Discord. Regardless of whatever Twitch is doing, you'll actually know exactly when I'm streaming. And you get access to me and everyone else in there for painting advice, lore chats, the occasional spicy conversation about whether or not Magnus did anything wrong. He did everything wrong, by the way. I'm fine with dying on that hill. I just read those books. He definitely did everything wrong. But, pardon me. Yeah, if you're new to painting, this is a good place to be, as I do my best to teach painting. How I'm painting, why I'm painting, what I'm painting. They're also in the, as you get channel points, you can use them to ask me the most basic questions so you can quickly catch up on to what exactly is going on. Example, right now, I am doing a, I don't know if you heard the step as I explained it before. Just in case. This is a broad recess shade. White. And as in, opposed to a narrow recess shade, which will be the next step. This is to extend the distance of the shadow on the white. Because white needs extra shadow going on. Because you'd be able to see shadow on white, and we're trying to make this look like this guy is 8 feet tall, 9 feet with the halo, if not 10 feet. Also, can we talk about that for a second? Bladeguard veteran with its iron halo. Think about that next to like a modern building. Like let's say like one of those hole-in-the-wall cafes is what came to mind for me. That iron halo is as tall as the floor of the second story of that building. like this is as tall as an entire standard building story at the tip of the halo. Like, we gotta make it actually look that big. It's quite large. So white needs some extra help with shadows. So shadows is numerous steps in how I paint it. Which is a very slightly altered heavy metal recipe. For reference. It was part of this commission. I don't know if I'd always paint white this intensely, but that was the commission, so that's what I'm painting. So what I'm grabbing now, and I'm popping on palette. This is a 2-1-1 mix. This is 2 parts Apothecary White Contrast, 1 part Black Templar Contrast, Black Templar, and 1 part Lambien Medium. I put on a drop of ball in a large amount because I knew I'd use a bunch of it. Shook it up like crazy. Now it's a great shader that's not quite as dark as Nuln Oil and a bit more viscous, so it's more controllable. As you'll see, I'll have very low difficulty putting this right along the edges of recesses here, right in that corner. So, Frog, you're still there. New to painting? What are you painting? Do you play, or do you just collect, or... Tell me about your hobbying experience. I'm always very curious. Farming Space Wolves, very nice. Are you in for the Viking aesthetic, the furry aesthetic, or the... No, I'm joking. I don't know, maybe. Who knows? I don't judge. It's just amusing. Or because you like punching things in the face with being a space marine, I guess. I was about to say something specific, and then I realized, I don't know, all their melee weapons are about the same as everyone else's. Dig the Viking lore. Very fair. If I had come into 40k at a different time, I might have ended up the same with Space Wolves. My personal army is actually Raven Guard. That's for lore reasons. I like you. The whole Slayer of Tyrants thing. In addition to like the stealth and assassination and guerrilla warfare, I really dig those aspects. Man, when you might see this. Some some of the regulars have seen this, and I've done a couple of Shadow of Mordor streams, and man, was it when it's time to hunt, like a war chief, the blood begins pumping. I don't know, something about hunting a powerful character really gets me. Anyway, but the Tyrant Slayers in particular grab me pretty hard. This here is a White Scars commission. Wasn't super obvious. It's always right towards the end of the front I start really messing up the shader. I can soften it, like it's not a hugest deal. Waiting for the ad break to end. And we're back. Nice! Alright. So yeah, the Raven Guard, Slayers of Tyrants, generally decent to the Imperial citizens. Stealth, reasonable tactics, really. Stealth tactics, assassinations, while also being the Emperor's Vengeance, so I can dip into a bit of Angry Marine if I want to. All quite good. And you'll be able to really see how close I was to being a Space Wolf when you see how I've started converting them over the last year and a half or so. Start going a little tribal with them. This is one of my personal Intercessor Sergeants. And it kind of just keeps going from there. Yeah, that was rather early on, and then it just, kept growing as a point of inspiration. Probably should zoom out a little bit. That one. There we go. And, just kept going. Definitely not tribal savages, though. Just, nah, that can't be right. I don't know what you're talking about. This is actually my most recently finished model of my own personal army. This is a Relic Sakaran Vander, which is a Sakaran tank destroyer from Heresy. Yeah, I try to mix like a little bit of that Mad Max with a little bit of like straight up tribal horror. I'm trying to remember the name of this trailer a friend sent to me last year as part of a project at it was very hardcore tribal horror. Where is that? One of my Vanguard vets. But yeah, it was a pretty brutal trailer. I'd have to look up the name of it, but it inspired something. I know it was there, and then I did the project for him, and then I was like, holy crap, I want to do these to my Marines. About the same time, there's this guy that does Soul Hunters, the Soul Hunters fandom chapter on Instagram. Incredible work. That really sealed the deal for me. Like, well, I do Angry Raven Guard now. So as you can see, if I had I was very close to something like a Space Wolves vibe. I do all that? I did do all that. Okay, I think this piece is done. See, all that non oil was done around the brass bit, so let's do the highlight on that next. Okay. So I need some new paint. The brass, by the way, I'm using is Citadel's Runelord brass, which as much might be my favorite individual metallic paint. I don't know, I just really love the color that comes out of it. And it does come very smooth with a couple coats. Generally speaking, I try to use Army Painter metallics these days, but they don't have a proper brass. And I find brass is very complementary to the white, red, and green that I've been doing with Bladeguard vets. Yeah. Yep. It's more just highlighting with itself, so the rest is slightly darker. But the colors maintain it as basically the same. Alright, time to the highlight on the white. The edge highlight. And wow, we're actually getting pretty close to done. We might just finish this shield tonight, which actually would be like breakneck speed compared to how long it took me to do the first one. The first one, I was still kind of figuring it out. First one took me about 10 hours. 3 full streams. We've done like a stream and a half. Right? Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm at about Yeah, exactly. Stream and a half total on time on this. A little bit of time off camera. A stiff brush to pull this out. So the white highlight using it's Corax white, which mine is kind of just like goo. I have found a way to work around it. I just need a synthetic brush to pull it out and then drag it onto the wet palette, which is starting to become a little dry. Isn't necessarily a great timing because I don't have a whole lot of water here. Alright, this is where the fun really begins. I'm gonna get super precise about this. Basically, the whole rest of this painting is just max precision. Quite a bit of patience. Oh yeah, so the logic of using this specifically on white, when if you look closely, you'll notice that the white I'm applying is darker than the white that's already there. You're correct. It's kind of like a weird white-specific technique that I refer to de-highlighting, where it's gonna be like the sharp matte white to this Corax white, which is an off-white, to a very sharp white scar, which is the edge highlight. So what it will do is it will give the illusion of the edge highlight being much brighter than it actually is, and brighter than the main white. Oh, right, I'm getting a couple coats in that one spot. So very messy. A little bit of an optical illusion. Which really is what most of painting is. Like, you don't really see the colors. Unless you're, unless you have a trained eye for it. You see the perceived colors made by the contrast of colors next to each other. That's what gives something a look. Is what you think is there because of colors being next to each other. You can make it a habit to look at stuff like that, then you can paint stuff to look like whatever you want, basically. So pardon me for getting so quiet, it just is taking a lot of focus. This is a high precision deal right here. I'm barely breathing as it is. Because any mess ups at this point are going to be very, very annoying to fix. Alright. I can breathe for approximately 30 more seconds before I go and do like the entire thing over again, but at a more difficult angle, and then do a glove. Good boy. Deep breath, yeah, right. He's the truth. I just have to remember, in difficult times like these of painting white, at least I'm not painting checkers. Oh boy. I've not ever thrown myself completely at checkers, but I wouldn't be super enthusiastic about doing it unless it was a very fascinating color combo. Means I'm probably doing Harlequins, which means I'm already doing a lot of cloth, which means screw me, I guess. Bloody clowns. I think I can move this angle, and I need meat. It's not acting the way to. Never mind, back to the dumb angle. I think I'm gonna need more of this paint on my palette. Yeah, it's becoming too thin where it's just becoming a pain in the rear because I have to do a bunch of coats that are already hard to do one coat. Not hard, just very sensitive. Gotta keep that wet palette moist. Moist. It's a thing. Great soundtrack. Oh, thank you. This is, steampunk music mix from Unwind Station. No copyright music. I found them quite recently. And I'm, this week, actually. I'm very pleased as well. Wanted to find some, fantasy music for the Tuesday digital art streams because this week I was working on some D&D character art. I want something to go appropriate with it, and I found these guys. Particular to steampunk stuff, which made sense because the D&D character I was making was a Warforged. Named Palette. Because he's a bard, passes through painting, usually on himself. Not always, but it can be usually found painting something on something, more or less all the time. Yes, I think overall I've seen generally an uptick across the board since getting this music. I think people that like to just lurk and chill to my stream while they're painting find this much more agreeable than what I used to play. Which I don't blame them, especially after listening to the same, like, 20-track mix for 3 months. 3 to 4 days a week. Like, ooh. Okay, I gotta pull something weird to get the pin. Jeez. Oh man, there actually is a mess up on the red over here. On the red. I mean, next to impossible to see it, I guess. Yeah, no, it's probably fine. How do I try and get so I can see what I'm doing? Sorry, can't quite mention is the shadow from the camera. That crazy corner over there. Okay. Noob question, but do you usually paint each piece separate as a situational decision? So it's yes. Okay. Generally speaking, I prefer to paint things in what are called sub-assemblies, which are individual pieces, and put them together as I go. It's taking the red off. I'm gonna have to some of that. Probably gonna have to read some of the red. I was close to thinking I wouldn't have to, but this red is so thin, GW, that it just rubs right off. Okay, so about sub-assemblies. So generally speaking, I usually prefer to do sub-assemblies because it allows you to get access to everything, which when you're painting at the detail level, I usually do. That's very helpful when you're doing like a GW style, heavy metal style paint job, which is, you know, base coat, shade, layer, highlight, edge highlight, etc., right? Also, I wouldn't call this a noob question. This is kind of just a general question, really. Because if you're always painting like that, then it is almost always good to paint in sub-assemblies once you hit a certain point where, like, the detail you're painting is, it becomes difficult to do, when fully assembled, especially for guys that have, like, overlaying bits like capes and robes and hoods and helmets that are slightly obscured by other pieces that are not, like, actually covering them. Like a helmet inside of a psychic hood, for example, or like the Gravis helmets. Stuff like that. It's really helpful to do, I mean, heads especially, it's just helpful to do heads as separate bits. So I'll have them on, see here, on corks, on quarters, with a carpentry nail, and then the piece glued on the top of the head. Or, yeah, top of the head of the nail. Then I use an airbrush to prime them, and then airbrush to base coat them, in this case white and then white again. But it also helps me if I want to do something like, say, my Vanguard vets, where their arms base coats are actually white. See here, the arms base coats are white, so then I can prime the main piece black, but the arms, especially in this case, because they're all magnetized, because Vanguard vets have so many options. I then can base coat them white, paint them as appropriate, and then attach them. However, there is a point where it actually becomes better to paint them in either fully assembled or large pieces, and that's when you start doing crazy, usually airbrush related stuff for completely non-GW standard paint schemes, like Zenithal highlights, which is what that is. You prime a thing a dark color all in one piece, and then you spritz it with the airbrush. So just a little, oh, it's in an ad. Oh, that's gonna minute. Okay, I believe I'm back. Alright, I realized I was in an ad, like, after at least a solid minute of talk. Oh, that's a sub. Thank you for that sub, Cinder. I keep forgetting how long that is. Thank you, Count, for the sub. You now have access to emotes. And also a bunch of additional sound alert things you can... Some of them are free. Some are free and sub-specific. Anyway. Alright, what was the last thing you heard me say? Great sub-song choice? Oh, I know. I know, that there's no better one. I mean, when you want a party, there's only one good universal option. That is Darude Sandstorm. No! I just got a bunch of blade all black and gray. Let's try to get off. Hopefully, maybe pray to the paint gods. Okay, good. They heard our prayers. They saw that we were slaying the gray, as is our divine. What's the word? Purpose. You were starting to go into how you do sub-assembly. Oh man, that was like the entire. That was the entire tirade. Okay, so reasons to want. I'll just start over. Reasons to want a sub-assembly. You are doing advanced GW style painting like this, where it is base coat, shade, layer, or layer, shade, whatever, highlight, edge, highlight, what have you. And it's very nice for getting into all the places multiple times, especially when you have things with stuff overlapping each other, like on this guy, for example. Here's where we stand on this guy. As a Bladeguard already, you have cloak happening. And you have pistol harness. And then we added, because I'm crazy, trophies on here that, as you can see, are overlapping. But because I painted these as individual pieces, you can't tell, really. Still flimsy? Oh, I gotta fix that. I gotta find a way. Oh yeah, the glue's all messed up on that. I can fix that later. Right, but allows you to do overlapping stuff and still make it look very realistic because they're in different pieces. It also allows you, as I'll grab one of my once again, if you have pieces that have dramatically different base colors, or very difficult to do base colors, like black and white, you can base coat them as separate pieces, paint them as appropriate, and then put them on, you know, like that. In this case, they're magnetized because these are Vanguard vets, so they have lots of weapon options. I love my magnets. So, reasons to not do sub-assembly. There are certain painting styles, which I don't really have any that are immediately available. But for example, like Zenithal highlighting, that you actually specifically want the piece to be entirely assembled. Because what you do is, you know, you prime it, usually black. I would say prime it in a base coat of black, or an undercoat of black, you know, some black paint to help seal everything. And then what you do is you spritz it from specific above directions with white or light gray paint, and then you coat that all with like colored washes, and that's called zenithal highlighting, which is a speed painting method that you want specifically, or it can be a speed painting. You can make it very like complex and extremely good looking, and it'll take you forever. But in any event, the idea is you want it all as one piece because you're using the black that's already there to undershadow it, while automatically lightening above it where the light hits. And the only way you're going to get that correctly, perfectly correctly, for light hitting something, is if it's all in one piece. So that's why you would specifically choose to not do subassembly. Like, I would specifically choose to not do subassembly in that regard because I'm doing the lighting effect in that way. Because I personally have only just started getting into some of those styles myself with some of my personal painting. Only very recently have I stopped not exclusively doing subassembly, because otherwise I just do everything in subassemblies, because when you're doing GW style, I find it as absolutely easiest to get really good results. That's actually not what I need. It's very close. To get the results I want in doing it in pieces, because I can get to every angle easily to do whatever it is I need to do. So then I'm able to do, let's say with this finished one, I'm able to do with the shield this brass and then silver wiring and then the green, you know, things there, even over there. So like it looks complete when it's done, and that wasn't a huge pain. You know what I mean? You look at the back here and like the bone and the scalp and pistol holster and these pouches underneath the backpack and the cloak from any angle. It's all been hit. It's all been treated correctly. So from a 360, everything is as it should be, because I did it in pieces. You can do this without getting in pieces, but man, is it going to be a whole lot harder. You're going to be doing a lot of cleanup. I don't care how good you are. So for edge highlighting for the weight, it is White Scar. So I hope that all kind of made sense. How you set up sub-assemblies, like mechanically, like physically, that process, that is completely up to you. As long as it has pieces and either chunks or individual bits off the sprue, you are doing sub-assembly. You can do that in however large or small chunks you think is appropriate for what you're doing. I can see reasons why you'd want to attach, say, the legs and torso all together and do it like that. Or I usually end up doing it in every individual bit, so I have maximum access to everything. Part of that is also keeping track of when you want to wait to do certain things for after stuff is assembled. Because there is stuff like the OSL, the sword glow. OSL is object source lighting. The sword glow on the finished guy. That bit, which is done with an airbrush, I wait until it's fully assembled to do that. So again, because it's something based on lighting, I'm hitting everything realistically as if it's light hitting it. Because, you know, light goes in straight lines like paint does. What do you know? Isn't that convenient? And imagine if light curved consistently all the time. Well, we'd be kind of screwed. Yes, I said it consistently all the time. I know that sometimes light curves, okay? Gravity does it. Fraction does it. So I hope that helped. The first instinct was use a sub-assembly method, but it seemed like most of what I watch is people painting assembly minis. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with painting assembled minis. I mean, I find myself doing it often enough at times due to reasons. Oh, another reason that I run into a lot why I might paint a mini completely assembled. If I'm doing something with a lot of conversions, a lot of green stuff, a lot of stuff add on to it. I have an example over here of some infiltrators I'm working. This is an infiltrator sergeant I am working on. That has some green stuff, some third-party bits. As you can see, he has no backpack, and his head is actually held on by only a very small bit of super glue, so I can easily pop it off for when I'm ready to paint him. But I want it on here so I could correctly figure out what he'd be looking at to line up the arm and stuff. This guy I'm going to be painting as all of this minus the head and the backpack. Then the head and the backpack will be done as sub-assemblies like I normally do, you know, on nails and corks. Because I'm doing like all this green stuff, so I need to know, you know, what everything is ahead of time. And while some parts like down here and stuff will be annoying to paint, it's kind of hard to do anything about it, considering the conversions I'm to it. I mean, I think a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people that are more advanced painters, they kind of just got used to painting them in single pieces and prefer to do that now, because that's where everyone starts, to my knowledge. When you start, like, the way GW teaches you is to build the mini, then paint it, then do like transfers, and then you're done, right? And then you do some sealant coating, and then you're done. But that's it doesn't mean it's the most effective way, or the most efficient, or the easiest way. It's just the way that's easiest to explain to beginners, because that makes some sense to just do all of one thing like building, and then all of one thing painting, and then all of one thing like basing, and one thing of like sealing it in, and then now you're done. Now you have a complete mini. I find in reality, if I'm not doing any conversions, I clip all the stuff off the sprues. I then put them on the corks. I then make the basing. I then prime everything, including the base, with an airbrush. I then base coat it all with an airbrush, because like this thing is just whites and blacks. Because I do the bases in black. Then I will usually at that point finish the base entirely, so the guy can just go on the base as I'm finishing him. That's why like this, like the base is completely done. This base is finished. Then as I complete both legs and the torso pieces, I put them together and I put them on the base, and then I add on to that as I go, and the guy's literally building piece by piece as I paint it. This both helps me keep an eye on the general composition of the piece. I find it is easier, it's more efficient to make sure you paint everything and everything looks correct and done 360. It also it gives me more of a rush of progress as I go. If that all makes some sense. So it's even a psychological thing, because I had a period when I was painting in sub-assemblies, and I was doing what's called assembly line painting, which is you line up all of the pieces and you do all of like one color across all the pieces. And I was trying to do this for entire squads. I did an entire 10-man squad of infiltrators like this. Never again. It was such a grind. It took me weeks to just do like all the legs. And I was doing like, I would sit down and I would do like 4 hours of painting. I would just be painting like Eshin gray highlighting across 20 legs. And do it again with Dawnstone for the edge highlighting. 20 legs, like, mind-numbing. I can't do it. So now I do one mini at a time, full of sub-assembly, one piece to completion, to complete completion at a time. Then I attach it to the currently built model, and I go until it's finished. And thus I'm able to see it come to life piece by piece. It looks like legitimate progress every time I add a piece, which sometimes, you know, let's say in a stream, I do 3-hour streams. If they're small pieces, I sometimes get multiple pieces in a stream, and that feels really good. Or one really big piece. Like, I would like to And I think it's very possible at this point. I would like this shield to be on the mini by the time I end tonight in about an hour and 40 minutes. Now, I think also a lot of people in general don't paint normal guys, like just the average guys, to the same detail level I do. I paint basically every mini, just about. I paint it to a better quality than the one before. Somehow, I'm always trying to push myself to paint better, paint higher detail, cleaner, more everything. Like that guy I showed you with the green stuff, like feather wrap thing on him, the feather sash thing. That's the first time I had done that level of detail of green stuff feathers. For example. Like, I'm always trying to push myself to do something new and bigger and better. Cleaner and... Now, if you're just trying to knock out... Let's say you get the Age of Darkness box and you got 40 Mark 6 Marines. Yeah. Pull an airbrush, assemble them, zenithal highlight, some inks, knock it out. That makes sense. That's fine. Will I do that? I mean, I'll probably think of doing it and then not actually do it because I'm an insane person. It'll take me 3 years to paint that box whenever I do end up getting it. But, you know. Because I'm a workaholic and a perfectionist, which is a dangerous combo. I really screwed up the red here. Well, I guess I'm having to fix the red because that other corner's wearing off, but so, yeah. So, whatever. So yeah, especially if your first instinct is to do sub-assemblies, I would definitely say, yeah, do sub-assemblies. Try it out. See if that fits well for you. Assuming my brush is weight. Generally speaking, when it comes to painting, I wouldn't say this is exactly the same with modeling, kit bashing, but painting. When in doubt, try it anyway. The worst that's gonna happen is you're gonna have to paint over it again. Better off trying it, because you never know when it might come out amazing. Case in point. This guy's sword, that was me experimenting. I did it on stream. The VOD's name is, I either make this sword amazing or die trying. And, yeah, this is how it came out. This was not a recipe I pulled from someone else, this was just me trying a thing that was in my head. Actually, I've since refined it in my head, and the next one will look a little bit better. Thank you. And that includes the laying effect. Like, the whole thing was just me being like, you know what? I'm gonna try X. I got this thing in my head, I'm just gonna try it. Worst that's gonna happen is I have to redo a whole bunch of this, so I'm really glad it worked out. But I mean, like, it's not like it'll be something that you won't be able to take back. You just paint over it. It's paint. Like, a few more layers is not going to destroy everything. It's just going to take more of your time. Best part is, that sword took me, like, grand total of, like, 25 minutes. If that. If even that long. As opposed to these shields that take me double-digit hours. Everyone's like, that sword's amazing! And I'm like, yeah, but look at the shield. Nah, it's just the nature of things. That's why it's starting to become a bit rambunctious. Need more white scar. just a few parts as front plate that get a little bit brighter on the highlight. And then this mess again. Jeez. Back of this, man. Back of it. Ad incoming. See it out of the corner of my eye. It approaches. Alright. Okay, the plate is done. Time for glove. Going to take a moment. Alrighty. Next step is going to blackline all of this inside trench. Clean up. Then the green bead effects, which is very simple. And then wow, we're doing the shield. Yeah, this will definitely be done by the end of the... we'll probably go from this to working on the sword. Probably the, oh yeah, and fixing that little ornament on his pistol. Alright, so we're gonna use... I think last time we used Black Templar. I think this time we're gonna use the arrow shader I used for the white. Worst case, I'll need 2 coats, but I think it's more, I think it's the proper ratio of liquidity to control. Fortunately, they're sometimes white drying on these sable brushes. It's quite hard to get out. Do I play too? I do play the game. I don't play as often as I'd like, but I do play. In fact, a couple months ago, I took 3rd in a local tournament. Which out of, what, we had like a dozen people there, I'd say is pretty good. Especially considering I'm playing Bladeguard, which is the 2nd weakest of Codex Space Marines, which is like the 2nd weakest based on win ratio army in the game. I'd say 3rd's pretty good. Oh, actually, I have the little poster thing I got right here. 3rd place at the Hobby Haven. That's what I go by in person. I go by Fox. For various reasons. So, yeah. I do play. I enjoy, talking tactics and min-maxing or strategy stuff. My favorite is actually Crusade for the narrative. The narrative gameplay. That's my favorite. Fortunately, I've not been in a Crusade for over 2 years now. It's disappointing. That's partially my fault, because I've had a issue with getting my hands on and then keeping a car for quite some time. Or some kind of vehicle. Probably the biggest thing keeping me from playing currently. And that's just an affordability issue. Money hasn't been super abundant for some time. Yo! Thanks for that resub, Forma. Let's go. I'll never financially recover from this. Yeah. I know. If you keep supporting nobodies like me on the internet. Yeah, I don't see you financially recovering from that. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna pay you back or anything. How's it going, Former? They was fired? Oh, are you serious? That's some crap. We didn't resubbing to me if you just got fired. What's wrong with you? Me and all my boys? Oh, big group layoff? Or are you trolling me? You never tell these days. I'm sitting here in just like very pensive anticipation. Like, what's going on, Farmer? What's happening? I am wealthy AF. Okay, well now your story's just going all over the place. Now my empathetic suspension is plummeting pretty quickly. Like what? You know what? I'm just gonna take your money and shut up. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take your money and I'm gonna shut up. You do you. You make your decisions. You're an adult, Hank. And I'll just be here painting. It was automatic anyway. Fair enough. I actually don't super know what it looks like on your guys' end or how it works because I don't sub to anyone. Mostly because I'm broke. But technically I have subscriptions to a few channels, but that's because people gifted them to me. I've not actually subbed to anyone out of my own pocket, so I actually have no idea what that looks like. So even more so, for doing something that I choose not to do, thank you. That reminds me, I got reminded today, I have a Patreon. It is not properly set up, but you can technically send me money through it. It tells you about a whole bunch of benefits that are not actually true right now, because I originally built that thing, like, last year when I first intended on doing all this, and then stuff happened. So that's the thing. Which, actually, it does give me a much larger share of money, but then you don't get chat emotes. Yet. Another 30 days or so. Since I was a good boy, I got 5 wages worth of money for... what? What, you got like a yearly bonus, or... I don't know what that means. I got 5 wages worth of farewell. It still doesn't clarify. I have no... I'm speaking a different language right now. I'm very confused. Yeah, I gotta really sit down and think of what I can give you guys. It's reasonable for Patreon stuff. That is definitely the better way of going about all this. Sounds like substances. I'm a bit drunk and in jumping bus. Yeah, sounds like substances. I agree. I think we found out what Former actually will never financially recover from. Yeah, it sounds to me like Former got his yearly bonus and then immediately went to the pub, and from the pub you went to my stream on the bus and resubbed. I mean, you say it was automatic, but it came with a message, so now I think about it, I don't think I entirely believe that. Yeah, I mean, cause for celebration. I'm with you there. I mean, if I could be drinking right now, I probably would be too. So I don't have anything left here that I would like to drink, and I am painting right now. I cannot paint drunk. At least I can't paint stuff I was paid to paint drunk. I have a bunch of pings on Discord. It's probably Tim 5. This is probably a question of the day thing. Is it a spicy one? That is spicy. I'm just gonna say yes. Okay, sorry. Drink to the Emperor! Yeah, as a space wolf, I'd imagine you're very on board with this, Frog. Also, sorry, I was making sure that pings on Discord weren't stuff I need to care about. The question of the day is in a political server. Roughly every day they put up a question. It's just a general poll with a specific discussion for that to help encourage, well, discussion. Sometimes the questions are quite spicy, which I'm all about. And without further prompting, that is as far as I'll go. Man, when I can afford to properly drink again, I'm so happy. I am actually quite a drinker myself. Usually in large single evenings. Actually, that might happen a decent bit tomorrow night. This moving party. Think about it. Though I can't hit it too hard because I'm driving back, so... Starting with wolves, but honestly, I think I'm an Imperial Guard guy. Mad respect for that, honestly. I have also heard that call too, and I have thought of, you know, in time, when appropriate, I might start getting some Imperial Guard and paint them as Kievar PDF, or Deliverance PDF, either way. So match my Ravens. Thinking like dark gray fatigues, black armor, white markings. I might go really ham on them and make them also like tribal slash like wastelandy, or techie kind of techie combo, like a tribal techie combo, utilizing some of those. The ones I really liked were the Ash Waste dudes from Necromunda. Now that'd be extremely expensive and very, you know, long-hinted project to do for Imperial Guard, but man, would it look... That'd be something, like, if I ever, eventually, I mean, like, I have many projects for money going at any given period of time, so who knows, at any point, anytime, any one of them could just suddenly start making me absolute crap loads of money. So, if slash when I hit the point when I could actually start doing that, that'll be quite a moment. Yeah, it's something I'd like to do. Got a lot of planning that way. I have to fix quite a bit of highlighting on the back. It's just hard to paint. Partially my own fault because of the court gang. Gaunt's Ghost got me in a 4K? Fair. I've not read them yet, but I've heard many a tale. What originally got me was actually finding the Wikipedia page. Not the standard Wikipedia, like the fandom wiki. That has like full breakdowns of like everything. And man, I read that for years. I would read it on my phone on breaks at my first job, which was retail. It wasn't until way later that I started both getting models and getting like actual books, and I've been doing that for a good number of years. And painting, I never even properly held a paintbrush in any real way before I started painting. So if you're ever wondering, like, your background can hold you back from being able to paint well, not unless you got some kind of physical obstruction. I don't think. Alright. Black lining, I'm gonna say, is done, I believe. Now we have some cleanup. It's darker. This is a hype track right here. Liking this. Alright. Now we're gonna jump between a whole bunch of colors real quick. I'm gonna actually start with pure white. Saw a couple parts. Definitely need that kind of cleanup. Mostly on the back here. Mostly stuff like this right here. Oh, it's even brass stuff I have to clean up. That's annoying. Oh. Not. Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, it just literally wasn't thick enough. Started rubbing off. Fine. Fine. I would say my favorite 40k books, though, are the Eisenhorn series. You want good novels? Read Eisenhorn. Start Xenos, Malleus, and Hereticus. When I realized how much media I loved was inspired by 40k, I was hooked. Yeah, this 40k's been around for a while. It's one or the other. Either 40k was inspired by something you like, or something you like was inspired by 40k. It's in sci-fi or fantasy or history, then it's one of the two. Dune. Yeah, Dune was in... 40k was massively inspired by Dune. Wow, I have a new friend. I'm glad you have a new friend, Former. I'm glad you have friends. It's a big improvement for you. It's amazing it took you this long, but hey, you got them now. I passed on bus and dude woke me. Okay. Like a dude? So I can go home? Oh. Yeah, that's nice. This is also why I don't use public transportation. If I'm in that kind of situation, I use an Uber. My new bro. Good Samaritan, that guy. Okay. I want to talk about something very dorky for a second. The Good Samaritan saying. Alright? Yeah, like, modern lexicon, that's like Samaritan is now synonymous with, like, a nice person, an empathetic, caring person. Yeah, what's funny is that came around as in, like, the Good Samaritan was, like, the one Good Samaritan. Samaritans before that story were considered, like, from the city of Samarita, or Samara, or whatever, were considered, like, all thieves and untrustworthy and, like, just really crappy people. So it's like, oh, It's a good Samaritan. It's like the one good Samaritan. And now we're just like, yeah, Samaritans, they're good people. It's 3 a.m. Didn't have a choice. Okay, GIF, dude. Yeah, I called GIFs. Catch you up, Frog. Former and I have had this whole tiff over GIFs. So he calls them GIFs. And I'm like, I have actual reasons to call them GIFs. You just think GIF is better. Because you think of peanut butter. A not even particularly good brand of peanut butter, might I add. Where are the reasons? Okay, for one, and I at the time we had this whole original debate, I actually like screen shared like examples, including the reference to this. Europeans completely subjective, Farmer, shut up. Okay, the creator of the GIF, the GIF like format says he calls them GIFs. That is what he refers them as. So there's one. Then you have practical reasons, like GIF is too close to the word gift and can be used in all the same sentences. Like they're interchangeable, but will have different meanings. I'm going to send you a GIF. I'm going to send you a gift. Unless you are very, unless you enunciate very well, and or you type very clearly with very few mistakes, using it like that can easily get, you know, have people confused. Let me unsubscribe real quick, GIF boy. I mean, oh, now you got me saying yours. No, I said right. Yeah. I mean, you keep threatening that. You can. I mean, it's your money. You go ahead. You already paid me for this month. I have 30 more days of your support before it becomes an issue again. Let's see. I had other ones. Now I'm forgetting what they were. Those are the two big ones. It's just, you know, the founder or creator of something, or the person discovered something. They get to name the stuff. That's how it works. Additionally, it makes practical sense. Isn't the first word of an acronym graphic? Oh, so that's part of it. So yes, it's graphic. However, do we say laser gun or las gun, or laser cannon or las cannon? Because there are laser rifles and laser guns and laser cannons. We call them las cannons, las guns, las rifles. Okay, lol. Right. Like, English is messy. That's the other thing. G can't, like, has both pronunciations. Yeah, even when you say the letter G, it's a J sound. It's a J sound. G and J. The only difference in the phonetics of the letters is an E and an A sound. G. That soft G is G, and a hard G is J. So, phonetically, like, it's fine. Can learn all about that in gender studies. Okay. That is a fairly complex topic. It was just the first word that came to mind that had a G sound. Geography. There you go. So like the graphics thing as part of the acronym is not necessarily a point against it. So I still have 2 points supporting and no points. Oh yeah, you're a sub now, so I can keep talking. So you have 2 points for and no points against. Except some people just want to say it with a GIF. Like, I've not heard any legitimate reasons I've not been able to directly counter as being irrelevant. Besides people's subjective opinion. So, for me, being very logical, I'm gonna go with GIF. I'm hard G. Like, your hard of the opinion needs to be a G, or your hard G, like hard pronunciation as in like a J. G. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying for me, no one's going to convince me otherwise unless they can come up with a more concrete reason. Which Former has not. Former actually gave some of the same logic you did. Yeah, now I have to go back and re-highlight some of that. See, I don't judge people until they start judging me, and then I will pull them apart with logic, because I don't take sides on stuff like that without reasoning. No judgment zone. I mean, judgment sometimes can be amusing. There are some things I will definitely judge a person on. It's just usually very obvious things. So I can't say flat out it's no judgment zone. There are some things I would definitely judge you for. Just, it's not likely you're gonna meet this criteria. Also, a lot of them are illegal. So, it's also that. Also, judgment for me is not necessarily like, I hate you now. It's just, I very strongly disagree and I advise you do otherwise. Like being a communist. I will definitely judge a commie. But I will also respectfully debate a commie as to why capitalism is the much better system for everyone. And as much for his benefit as is mine and everyone else's, that I am making that argument. Same with authoritarians. People that believe government should have a good deal of power. I will also debate that, and I will judge authoritarians for being authoritarian. But I fight for their individual freedoms against authoritarian anything for as much their benefit as mine, including their freedom of speech to have that stupid opinion, in my opinion. I am messing up so much red all of a sudden. Yeah. I have thought about advertising it more on Twitch in like my bio and stuff, but like I actually do a lot of political debate, economic debate, etc., etc. I find those topics very fascinating, and to anyone that is willing to have such conversations, I will absolutely dive into them. I'm not sure if I want to advertise that harder because of obvious reasons. I have more pings on my Discord. It's just stuff I care about, not really. Anyway. Do it, man. Well, I did it for the GIF. Give me something to... Give me my next target. Give me a topic, and, yeah, I'll pull it apart or support it, depending on where I stand on it. Do it, man, why not? Oh, yeah, for advertising it on Twitch. Like, yeah, like, putting in my bio, like, hey, you know, I will not... I don't back down from debates. I find it very difficult to do so, because I usually have a well-thought-out opinion ready to go for most serious topics. Man, I just keep, like, messing up the rate. It's so good. I think just because I'm getting tired. Guns, go. More guns. Everyone should have guns. Armed society is a polite society. You want to not have any shootings? Guess what? They're not going to want to do it if they're just going to get shot instantly. We had that exactly happen in Illinois Mall when a guy came out of the mall bathroom, pulled out a gun, and was about to start popping people. He only got 3 shots off before he got plugged 6 times in the chest by a guy that, against the rules, as it was a gun-free zone, had a concealed carry on him anyway for exactly this reason, to protect him and his girlfriend. Pulled it up 30 feet away, bam, 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 took him down. It was amazing. For one example, that's not even against the whole government guns problem, where, like, hey, if they got guns, you don't have guns, suddenly they make all the rules. Doesn't matter what your vote is. It don't matter, because they're gonna do whatever they want, because guess what? They got guns, you don't. That's just the way reality works. It's a jungle out there. Must I go on further? I will go on to just say, literally not just everyone should have the right to own guns. I'm saying all the guns. If you can afford a tank, buy a tank. What do I care? Drugs, go. First off, most of the hard drug problems are because we got Big Pharma doing whatever they want, as well as the CIA trying to destabilize mostly Mexico. Oh, it's not bad to get a lot of kickbacks up here, but, most other drugs, I mean, really, it's the person hurting themselves. The more you try to intervene and affect things from a top-down approach, you're gonna just cause more problems, because every situation is completely different. Every human is different. They have different reasons to get into drugs and why they're doing drugs and how they're doing drugs, and it's just like, boom, like you're just gonna screw stuff up more. I've heard tons of ways of us solving hard solutions, solving, like, oh, you got a drug addict, force them into the military. You realize most of the people go into the military, like, not a drug addict, and they come out of it a drug addict? Like, that's not a solution. That just gets them off the streets. But we got plenty of ways of getting people off the streets, like, for example, making affordable housing once more affordable by allowing them to be built in these nice neighborhoods that through racist legislation on a local level made it so you can't build affordable housing, because they didn't want more black people to move into their neighborhoods and lowering the neighborhood value. And that's why affordable housing is illegal to build in the US. How was that? Was that good? Was that entertaining? Like I said, I've been doing all these for a while. Man, I'm sweating now. This is where I get sweaty. I don't get sweaty on games anymore. I used to get sweaty in games. I used to play Battlefield competitively. Went in tournaments, nearly got corporately sponsored back in high school. Good 10, 11 years ago. Nowadays, I get sweaty talking about politics and solving society, which usually is just leaving people alone. That's my solution. My solution is just get off people's backs. People will do the better. Well, people will either do the better solution, the more effective solution for everyone of their own accord, because if they don't, natural selection will take them out, or if they do the dumb decision, guess what? Natural selection takes them out and solves itself. Yes, there are usually casualties, but we have shown in the 20th century there's way more casualties for interventionism, because the more hardcore a government gets, the more people dying to government. With like negligible results in removing the other ways they were dying. Deep breaths. Because those are like my zero punctuation versions of a lot of those debates. 2024. I could see Trump making a comeback, because after Biden, I mean, like, I live in a true blue state, and I already disliked him, but, like, the average person up here now, like, hates Biden and the Democratic Party. Like, is getting angry up here. Yeah, Biden's definitely not staying. I doubt the Democrats are going to stick around. If Trump gets the Republican backing, and even if he doesn't, he might make a comeback. I don't know what the Republican Party would do other than that, because the obvious one seems to be for their supporters to take back Trump. Whatever you think of Trump, my opinion's kind of mixed. I think he was great for the economy, which I'll take that, you know, all things considered. America's economy was doing great up until the COVID situation, which, you know, I got opinions about that are spicy. Yeah, this is why I've talked about before about making this a lot more clear as, like, potentially, like, painting with politics or something like that. Because, man, I can go. DeSantis is probably the guy. Okay, if that's the guy I'm thinking of. Actually, hold on. Let me before I jump on that. Let me make sure I'm thinking. Okay. Oh yes, Governor of Florida. I like how he handled the COVID stuff. I've not looked much into him beyond that. I like how he was like, okay, COVID's the flu, let's move on, pretty early on. Because guess what? COVID's the flu. Just flat out. COVID is a new version of the flu. Which, by the way, makes vaccines stupid. Why do we keep using vaccines to try to deal with the stuff that evolves every year, if not in less than a year? Dumb. Use vaccines to attack things like measles and smallpox, where it's like one thing. It's one thing. It doesn't change. Smallpox doesn't change. Measles doesn't change. The Black Plague doesn't change. That makes sense for vaccines. It doesn't make sense for vaccines for something that's ever changing. How you fix that, but we don't do that because of Big Pharma, is we get people to just be healthier, periods. They have stronger immune systems. That's how you fix that. Have real healthy food available that's not massively genetically modified to the point that I can't eat bread anymore. Because I'm gluten-free to American bread. I'm fine with European. American bread gives me all kinds of problems. Because over in Europe, they have GMOs banned. This Monsanto bread over here, on the other hand, gives me all kinds of issues. As well as the milk. Monsanto, they got big by making chemical weapons in World War I. Yeah, let's make them the head of the food department. Then you got the high fructose corn syrup problem, and that was because of government corn subsidies. Subsidies. Not subsidiaries. Subsidies. So, like, what? Yeah, we get, you know, we get healthier meats, fresh food and veggies. Like, why in America of all places, when life becomes Warhammer? Yeah, no kidding. Why do we have so many food deserts in the United States? Like, the economic capital of the world. The greatest economy on the planet. I understand we're a big country, but we have food deserts in heavily populated. I can travel 20 miles from where I am in New England and hit a food desert. They're there in Massachusetts and Connecticut. and a couple in Rhode Island. They're food deserts. You can't get good, fresh produce. Like, how is that a thing? Get people off the SADS, standard American diet, of fast food and cheap meats and heavily processed foods and processed sugars. Get them off that. Get them on real food. That in and of itself will do massive wonders for our health system. But nah, drugs, and also sell the drugs at like a 500% markup minimum. If not a 14,000% markup. Not joking, those are real numbers. Like what? Yeah, life becomes Warhammer 40k. That's a big part of how I got into 40k and why I chose Raven Guard. Because I was into all this heavy conspiracy, Project Mockingbird stuff way before I got into 40k, and man, I just launched so hard into it, and I was like the Raven Guard. The Slayers of Tyrants. Yes. Move to Texas, that's the move. I mean, I've thought about it for a long time. I can't economically pull it off. But no, I like a lot of what Texas has to offer. In those regards. I'm an East Coaster, been here for 5 years. Oh, nice. Where on the East Coast, if you don't mind me asking? Like, did you originate from? Charleston? Charleston, I mean, okay, listen, there's like 4 Charlestons. Yeah, I'm more specific on that one. At least 4 Charlestons. South Carolina. Okay, right. So I'm like, there's like 3 of those just in New England. Okay, nice. And now you're over in Texas? Yes. You've been there for 5 years and you're saying that's the place to go. Nice. Yeah, it's kind of a combination of economic factors. It's got me... That's keeping me from being more selective about where I live. So for the moment, I'm kind of just dealing with what I got, which... up here is kind of getting better. You know, like I was saying, because of how the whole Biden administration went, like, even though Rhode Island's a true blue state, it might be starting to turn. Yeah. Currently my best economic bet, so I'm back to with my parents after I lived with my ex for years, and we had a huge breakup last year. Fully separated. Ex-girlfriend, not wife. Though we were together on and off for 9 years. But back with my parents, my best economic move right now is actually stay, as they're trying to move to Georgia. Was the last place on the menu. Just waiting for some of my dad's military benefits to kick in. Now that he's retired. And they're trying to move down south. I am going to then turn around and go to our landlord, because we rent, but it's a very cheap rent, and be like, hey, I'd like to stay, and I'd like to sublease the rooms, and I stay in the basement, and that's how I want to handle this. If I can make that happen, which is mostly just getting the landlord to agree to that, which I don't see him having an issue with that, because he's kind of a slumlord that could give a crap as long as he gets the money. Heck, if need be, I could even swing the deal, because the prices I intend on selling those rooms for, I could afford to pay a little bit more in rent. Not even be an issue, and I'd still actually end up with a bit of a profit while lowering my current expenses quite dramatically. That'd be my best bet. Short of some other project I'm doing having like a windfall event, and I just start making tons of money, you know what I mean? And then I'll figure it out from there. But for the moment, while I'm stuck in a holding pattern as far as that's concerned, and those other projects haven't paid off yet, and this is making me pennies, I am just trying to scrape by. Which I am, like, somehow sheer dumb luck succeeding on. It feels like every other month I have some kind of random event that is not replicable. It just happens to get me through by the skin of my teeth. It's just, alright. So I've managed to do this for a year, I guess I'll just keep going, because, I mean, it's just how it's worked. Alright, a little bit of red ink top coat. Finish off the red fixes. Did I get all the ones in the back? The highlights? No, I did not highlight the ones in the back. I am incorrect. We are not ready for the top coat. Last, I got some on white. I can fix that again. It's kind of how it goes. Step. Yep, I hit more. Yep, that's me getting tired. Got about 35 minutes left. You know what? I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad for that conversation. Because it's been a while since I've gone off on Twitch about political stuff. That's always quite enjoyable. Hit the red more. Insert Wilhelm scream here. Wait, where? Right. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Fine. It feels a little on the messy side. How's it compared to the other one? Actually, not far off. I do have to apply the top coat of places. The place not bright enough. How so? The various like shadows and shadings and stuff, and some of the highlights, I can just see how they aren't clean, if you will. They're kind of just globby, just going all over the place, doing their own thing. Not uniform. Particularly around like the bolts and the shadows. Look around the bolts and the shadows. There's some that just like go all over the place, and I might go out my way. Just realized. Okay. It's about to go to... Alright. I just had to check the music real quick, because I just realized it's been going on for a while, and I've not checked it, and making sure it's still actually playing non-copyright music. I don't get parts of the VOD muted by Twitch, or potentially pulled by YouTube. By the way, I do keep the VODs for as long as they allow me on Twitch, and I do upload the VODs to my YouTube channel, which can be found all kinds of ways. Just basically tabletop. Link tree there will get you everything. Everything everywhere. Which includes tutorials. I swear I do make, even though I keep talking about how I have 3 more lined up in like 2 weeks now, and I've not done them. I do make them. I've just been really busy or exhausted. But I have ones on hot plasma. I have ones on I have the full white armor recipe, and they're all like short. They're short, subtitled, but you watch me in the time-lapse paint an entire X thing on stream, and then cut down to the actual painting time-lapse with subtitles explaining what exactly I'm doing, paints, etc, etc. So you can see an entire White Scar's leg done in about 7 minutes. You can see hot plasma as done on my Storm Raven ship. Show in a minute if you'd like to see it. I've got melta barrels, I've got purity seals, I've got I know I've got a few more. I know I've got one of my older style ones and a power sword, which is more me actually talking, and it's like made to be a tutorial. I don't make those like that anymore because it takes me like 4 entire days to make a 20-minute tutorial. Doesn't seem worth it to me when I'm already doing the thing on stream. So next time I make one of those blades, I might remake that tutorial. Oh, I got lightning claws on there. Jump pack glowing thruster things. I don't remember what they're called. They're not turbines. At least I don't think they're turbines. I think all that's left is the effects on low beat things. So, how we're doing that... You know what? I'm gonna wait for the ad to finish for the non-subs. For the subs, I'm gonna show off my Storm Raven gunship and its hot plasma. Nope. Ah, son of a... I knocked the thing over. Oh, it's the annoying one I gotta pop back on later. Ah, son of... God. That was like the most annoying piece possible to pop off that thing. And how did it even get popped off? It was right in the middle of a diorama. How dare. Okay, anyway. Storm Raven. I knocked off a little diorama piece off my desk. Okay. Storm Raven gunship. I don't consider this completely done, which is why it's not on my Instagram yet. I want to tribalize the crap out of this. It's just I have not had the energy or motivation after doing the current Venator because that was already a really big thing that took me like 2 months. So this guy was painted up for a tournament, and I've not gotten around to going back and finishing him. And see, he's quite dusty. So the plasma specifically tutorial is how I did these. It does involve an airbrush, but it's not super hard or complicated. It takes a little bit of finesse that you can get with some practice that you can test off, like test on other things, until it looks like kind of what you want. Everything else is done with a brush. So it's like the very faint glow on the sides. That's done with an airbrush, and it's just very, very light spurts. And again, it's just a thing you can spend a little bit, you know, testing on your hand or something before doing it. It's not too bad. It's not crazy. And yeah, this thing includes some freehand, which actually at some point I should release that in particular, because I actually did this entirely in a single stream. So I have the footage of it. I could time lapse it. I've intended on doing that for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it. Got this one over here. That was in and out of a couple streams. That took me a lot longer. Quite happy with it. So that's the Storm Raven. Back to the shield. Let's wrap this up and get it on the model before I run out of time here. Probably like, oh, we have 25 minutes. What's the rush? And I'm like, you realize we're painting. Everything takes about 7 years. It's just how I go. So time zoom. There. Alright. So the key to this is Game Color by Vallejo Escorpino Green, or 72032. This thing is a fascinating little high vibrancy green wash-like paint. I use it as an effects glaze. One of like 4 different green effect glazes I have. But it's the one I've been liking the most recently because it seems to be the most vibrant. I pop some of that in there. I grab it with a small brush so it dabs back on like a drop. I get lights and camera and everything working together here. And I'm going to make brushing motions starting away from the bead and coming towards it because I want to collect it around the bead. I want some on the bead, obviously, but mostly around it. Stuff on the bead will be rather thin, so it's lighter. While stuff further away from the bead will be very thin as well. Showing that kind of glow gradient as you get closer and closer to this bead. It's not an exact science, but... And I may have to go back and soften some of this a little. It's also quite hard to make sure the camera can see what I'm doing. The biggest part is I definitely want a solid bit of liquid goop drying immediately around the beam. So that will give it a sense of depth and progression of the gradient of light effect. I know it's a lot to explain. Something that's probably rather intuitive. Also, if you were watching earlier and you came back from the ad and was like, why are we looking at a Storm Raven? Consider subbing. We don't have ads interrupting whatever's going on. Consider becoming a leg of the table, as that is what subs are technically called. I mention it very often. It's a very straightforward analogy. I am the table. You as a follower come and take a seat at it. Take. However, subs support it. Thus are the legs. We're moving our way towards a 1,000,000-leg table. Most likely never actually happen at 1,000,000 subs, but it's a fun concept to think about. It's an amusing picture. Currently, we are an 8-legged table. Okay, so it's definitely some of this green I'm gonna have to soften down and pull in, but man, does that look cool or what? Hey, Gosu! I am wrapping up a Bladeguard Storm Shield. How are you doing? Just realized that some white did manage to stick around up here. How dare. scratch it up. Maybe? Sorta, kinda. Maybe a stiffer brush. What's up, Gosu? How you do? How's your Iron Warriors coming? Good, knocked out a ton of work on my Iron Circle robot today. Nice. I actually really like those. I'm up to 15 finished and based Mark 6 Iron Warriors. Nice. That is already more Iron Warriors that you've done since last time I talked to you than I've done for my Raven Guard all year. What do you know? I think I've done like, to my standard of completion, like 15 Raven Guard models all year. Granted, two of them were vehicles, and basically all of them had like tons of conversions and crap. How's this looking? It's gotta dry a bit before I can rest of it. This Iron Circle robot is like a giant skinny giant. Yeah, it's basically what they are. Doing this entire massive shield and hazard stripes. Honestly, if you're gonna do anything in hazard stripes, I feel like that would be the easiest thing to do. Hazard stripes. You have the most like leeway to mess up. Okay, is there any way I can pull up some of this Dawnstone to just fix this hand thing? Let's pull. Kinda, sorta. I will say I did have a lot of fun doing the hazard stripes on the Mohawk on helmet I put on my Venator. But trust me, after doing 15 hazard stripes in this Mark 6 Marines around a curving tiny leg with 2mm masking tape, I'm good with flats. I'm good to go with flat surface. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing the hazard striping for this piece. Ready. Iron Warriors helmet on the side of my Venator. Oh, and actually the little pipe things on it. I didn't use any masking tape. I just did that by hand. Basically freehand. Actually, both sides. Ironically, I think the striping on the pipe on the right side came out better, but you can't see it because that just happened to be where he was set to be mounted. So, whoops. Also, I think he was propped up in a particular way, and I just messed it up. Oh well. Anyway, oh, that's not bad. Yeah. Is that the holding your head because it did such a better job than you on such a more annoying surface? He's dry yet. I want to clean this up and get this on the model already. You got one of my homies headed on your ride, man. Yeah. I got one of your homies and a bunch of his friends. Because not only do we have Iron Warriors, we got Word Bearers. I can get to stop spinning around. We got Word Bearers, who really had a bad day. On the other side, we got Alpha Legion. I came for your homie and his buds. That's not even including the human skulls on there. Who knows who those people are? If I had some actual Chaos Space Marine helmets, then I'd probably get some Black Legion on there or something. The main point was to kill. The main point was grabbing not only factions that Raven Guard canonically have beef with, but are also played by local players of mine. Like, I have a local Iron Warriors player. I have a couple local Iron Warriors players. I have a local Word Bearers player, a local Alpha Legion player. Actually, same guy that these white scars are for. The Necrons are painted in one of my local Necron players' colors. I have Orc players, Tau players, Gene Stealers, Imperial Guard. And you know what's funny? My local people have yet to figure this out. Granted, they haven't seen the tank much in that state since it's finished. They've only seen it a couple times, but they've not yet figured out that I was calling them out specifically. I still don't know what that kill was in reference to. I'm assuming it was something cool. Alrighty. I'm gonna call this done, I think. Oh, nope, I have one brass thing that's actually kind of standing out and bugging me out. Actually, that brass in the pound might still be good. It's not that old. It's only like an hour or so old. Well, hour and a half. Okay, more like 2 hours. I only need very little. I think Frog was trying to make a multi-message statement with that, and then just died halfway through. I think that's what happened. The CIA caught up with him, like, mid-message. He was trying to get out, like, you know, kill this guy. He's the one behind it all, and the operative showed up behind him. Now they'll never know. Alright, this is done. Let's pop this on the model. Pop this on the model, and maybe you can start considering who we're raiding, because we got enough people to raid. First I have to clear out the peg hole. It's filled with glue. Which, those are sharp eyes. My nose, this hole seems a little big. That's because I drill out the holes before I prime them and paint them to be wider so that they can more easily take in pegs that are covered in primer and paint. Because they're going to be hit with primer and paint. Learned that lesson the hard way, and now I give it to you the easy way. If you're going to do things in sub-assemblies, talking to you, Frog, and you're going to actually utilize the pegs on the model to help hold them together, drill the holes first. Drill them just a little bit wider than they were before. Now, in theory, when I go to this on the model, I should... Oh, I might not have enough of it. I figure how much is all the glue. Jeez. Oh, some of it was just the glue, not in the hole, but just on the inside of the wrist in general. That makes sense. That's fine. I wonder why I'm not doing it on camera. It's because I'm using an X-Acto knife, and I'd rather have it somewhere where I have, like, really good eyes and really good control on it, even if it's at your guys' expense, so I don't slice myself open, because you know what? I get to profit off your blood, sweat, and tears. You only get sweat and tears out of me. That's how this goes. I'm being a little selfish. I'm gonna keep my blood for me. And I'd imagine it's only because the amount of green stuff and conversions I do for mine. Blood for the blood god, yeah. I'd imagine when we get back to making just my stuff, with the beginning of the new year, most likely, it'll probably just be a matter of time before I slice myself open on camera. Oh, bro. Oh, did you? I just put in a huge Forge World order, so it's basically the same as cutting yourself up. But yeah, what's up? Why is this not going in? Also, oh yeah, that little trophy. Go in, you bastard. Inspire Warriors swag and a Fire Raptor gunship. Oh, cool. Do I have to... Don't tell me I got the wrong shield thing, 'cause it won't... It's like angled, right? It just won't go in. Where's my drill? Great! I just... dumped all my drill bits over in an annoying corner. They're everywhere. That helps me in finding the drill bit I want. Tell me about the Fire Raptor gunship again. What's that thing's special thing? Like, what does that bring to the table? Like a Storm Eagle that has more guns and no transport, literally a gunship. Oh, so it's just like... for ease of my reference point, it's like just a bigger, beefier Storm Raven, but no like you actually get to swap out the transport for guns. It's two big old assault cans on the front of it. Those are sized up assault cans, I'm assuming. I was saying, like, yeah, I vaguely remember what it looks like. I just don't remember what it really, like, carried. Alright, well, I'm mucking around with this. I'll pop this on the screen. Okay. Oh yeah, those are quite big assault cannons. And then some, what are those, quad heavy bolters? Storm Strike missile launchers. I recognize those because those are the wings from the turbine down are exactly Storm Raven wings. Those are the same pieces. Try paint similar to the forged wood box art of it. Okay, that's cool. That makes sense. But yeah, straight up, those are like these same bits at... Okay, you know what? I do think I might have gotten the wrong shield bit for this arm. I am going to just pop off the peg on it, and I'll figure it out for the sergeant. That's where I'm at. That's how I'm gonna handle this. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no, it's more complex than that. Oh, no. Oh, boy. That's a thing. That's a thing. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, this is gonna go into the lexicon of the channel, in the history of the channel as a thing. So, this shield got a little bits of detritus on it. This, I guess, is the sergeant's shield, and not this guy's shield. It is now fully painted. This will not fit on this guy's arm. Like, the actual molding of the inside of the arm and the forearm of the guy do not actually, like, line up, best I can tell. Unless I had the angle wrong. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe? Does it kind of make sense like that? Hold on. Oh, wait, what's that? What's this angle? Let me try to get to the... I clipped the peg off, so that's definitely not helping me out, but... Does this line up still? Oh, wait, maybe it does? Wait, I don't need to look it up online. I have this. I have this somewhere. I have these... Give me a second, I'm gonna mute real quickly. I should have this booklet, because these are the ones from the Dark Imperium box. Or the Indomitus box. Oh, you saying good luck and leaving me? How dare you? Yeah, that's fine. Actually, it was the first thing I grabbed. Is this the one with the instructions on it? Never mind, this doesn't have instructions on it. Okay, must be another one. It has the data sheets. Never mind, I don't have the booklet for this. Oh boy. You know what? Here's how we check. I'm gonna clip off... See, it kind of fits like that. But it's real weird about it. Not quite right. Maybe up higher? No, it's not staying on the wrist right. Let me clip off the other shield bit and compare. No, it can't be the other one. The other one... The other one attaches at the elbow. And the other one fit on perfectly. Yeah, okay. I need to... Alright, I think... I did notice in the other one just now, there is a bit of a gap on the back of the forearm brace. So I think I need to not worry about that as much as just getting it on the wrist correct. Which I think it's very... I need to zoom out here so I can actually kind of get this on camera. Explain what in the warp I'm talking about. I need to get this like way up here. And I guess just kind of like... No, I was able to make it sit a second ago. Yeah, like that. Like way up. It's like way up on it. Unless it's partially like more of this detritus in there from the gluing and everything. I could try to carve more of it out. How's chat doing? Are we still okay up there? Maybe I need to take some off the... Actually, if I line up the entry with the peg bit that's still there. Okay, I think I see how it's supposed to go on. Alright, I think I can glue it. I think I figured it out. I think we got it. Taking the peg off might have made this harder. I think I got it. I think we have success. I think some of the red will need to be cleaned up later, like just touched up. We're looking at 11:07. Alright, yeah. Let's find someone to raid. It's Friday night. I'm sure there's people around. Who can we raid? Fun one would be I Like Snowflakes. No, she hardly needs me. Who is Sussyken7 again? I don't remember. I follow them, apparently. If there's any, recommendations from chat. You know what? I don't know. Shares died down. Viewer count is dying down. Maybe we just don't raid tonight. We are under my threshold of how I'd normally do it. Alright, so yeah, Friday night. Yeah, maybe if we had more energy going on. I might do it at under my normal threshold when I'd raid, which is usually about 5 viewers at the moment. Which we're flickering between like 3 and 4. I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here. The shield is on. And I will re-affix the trophy and stuff and clean all that up meantime, and I will see you guys again Monday, where we will be working on the sword, most likely. I might work on the arm of the sword over the weekend, just because that's less fun than the sword bit. Yeah, alright. I will catch y'all Monday. Have a good one.